Hey guys, it's Johnaget with the Walk-Ons again. Back here with another video for you guys today. I thought I'd do something that I haven't done before, and that would be a field tour. I got a new GoPro, I was messing around with it, and I was at the Swamp Paintball field here recently, and I was like, you know what? Nobody has like just a general walk around of the field, and it's one of those fields where it's good to know what it's like before you actually go. So I just took a quick walk around the field, about 10 minutes or so, and shot this footage so I could share it with you guys and maybe talk a little bit about the field, kind of show you where things are at here, and kind of give you an explanation of kind of how games run and things like that if we have enough time. So as you can see, I came through the safety netting there, right there in the beginning. I'm actually walking the field with my daughter. She came out to the event, so she wanted to go out and see. So we went out while the field was cold and just kind of walked around and looked at some of the forts and bunkers and things like that. But if you can see here, so we just kind of went past the I don't know, whatever he calls that, the shed or the registration area over there, and then you'll see the house and the fence netting to the right in the back. That's one of the boundaries here. And then as we come across, sorry, I got a little bit of my kid didn't want her feet to get soaking wet, so kind of had to help her through here. But so we're on the south side of the poison apple area of the field here. So in the center of this field, there's a big CQB building. It's kind of maze-like. There's a bunch of different corridors and hallways in there, you know, and we'll get to that in a minute here. And now on this far side here, on the back here where we're going, this like field over here represents the next boundary. And then when I look up here past these bunkers, we call this the strip mall. Each one of those is like a cubby. Each one of those little notches is a cubby. It goes all the way up to the other side. And then on all four corners of this section of the field, there are actual start boxes where you can split the team up in various different ways to play. You'll see that this side of the field is also primarily made of pallet type bunkers and spools and things like that. So there's lots of little cubbies, but it's also generally wide open because there's not a lot of stuff in between because it's obviously grass. I'm going to walk through the poison apple here next. I sent my daughter up around, and you'll see how muddy it is. This is probably pretty standard for this time of year, but the field is generally a muddy field. I'm also not going to go through the whole base in here because I want to leave a little bit of it as a surprise for people when they go and actually go to play. But I've kind of gone up the straight shot here, right where the flag is, so you can see, you know, right where the main flag is. You know, so there's a little corridor back there. It's like a T shape. You can't get out of there. It's a dead end basically. So something good to know about, of course. And then here we are on the other side. Now, in addition to these two, the first entrance I went through and the entrance in the back, there are one on each side as well. So there's actually 4 entrances to that base. So you gotta really be aware when you're in there, if you're defending it, or even if you're trying to get in there. Like, you have lots of options or lots of places that you need to pay attention to just to hold that place down. So you also see up here, this is the upper boundary of this section of field. That's a grass seed field, so it's pretty clear, pretty distinguishable. If you're to go all the way out there and you know, go up against the field, you'll know, like, oh, this is the boundary. I shouldn't be going any further here. And then over there on the left, you'll see kind of that Burgerville sign over there. That's the other kind of bigger fort in this area. That's the Burgerville fort. It's got like a little micro maze sort of situation going on in there, which is a very important part of this field when you're playing like top versus bottom. You'll learn really quickly if you go out there. So you'll see the field's taped off. That's for a particular type of game we're playing. It's not usually taped off. It's usually all open play there. And then there's this main road here. We're going to follow this all the way down to the backside of the paintball field. And I'll try to point out things along the way. So you'll see as we get around here, you'll see kind of like there's the blue barn here, which you can't play inside of. It's literally just a barn. But you'll see this like little fort here that's standing on legs. It's the Shiloh Inn. It's like an old camping, I don't know, it's not necessarily a camping trailer, or if it's a like one of those backs that goes on the back of a truck. I actually don't know. I've gone in there a bunch of times. I don't really actually know. But anyways, and then there's a maze up here. We call this the upper maze, which I sent my daughter to run through because she wanted, you know, she wanted to see it. So, and there it kind of zigs and zags in there, which is actually pretty intense when you're playing, because if someone's on one end and you're on the other, you really don't know what's going on. It can be kind of it can be kind of stressful. But you'll see it took her a little while because she went up and around. It's kind of like a U shape here. And then this tub right here, this thing right here is an upside down hot tub to my left, which you can go inside of and shoot out of. And then you'll see the school bus way over there as well, which is another, it's a building, you know, which has barriers and stuff inside to make it kind of segregated in there. It's quite a fun place to play, but it's also really intense. And then there's various bunkers all in between. You'll see some of them are labeled, like at one point I believe they're all labeled, but it's good to learn them so you know you can call out to your teammates and that sort of thing and say, hey, you know, and D1 or H5 or whatever. And then to the left here, I might have missed it here. Oh, right there, that white building there, that's the Twin Towers. That's it's got like a really low crawl space type area, and then it has an upper area. And then this is Fort Nelson. It's another flag base basically, and you can see by the old school Nelson banners there, you know, that kind of mark it as such. And so yeah, so now we're getting here towards the back of the field. You can see this is these sides, this is like the far outskirts of the field. You don't necessarily get a lot of play per se, but it's that kind of fill-in area that you're running from your main start. So the Poison Apple, the building that we walked through before, is the one of the main start bases typically, and then this big barrier back here of buildings or pallets is Fort San Venganza, and that is another start base. I didn't go inside of this fort. It doesn't actually get too much play, but there are rooms and barriers and bunkers inside there. And again, you can see how wet it is. My daughter actually asked if I could pick her up, so I pick her up on my shoulder, so the video might get a little janky as I carry her around. But you'll see, I mean, you can see just by how wet it is. Typically this area of the field is pretty wet. The upper field in Poison Apple's not always wet. It can dry out pretty good. And then as we go down here, we're going to go through this next section here, and you'll see it's another one of those areas that dries out pretty well, but not this time of year. It's just, you know, it's just really wet. So we use, a lot of us have like waterproof socks and bring changes of shoes and all that kind of stuff, so when we're playing we can we can have dry feet, myself especially. I swear by it. So this building over here to the right is the Boathouse, I believe is what we call it, which is kind of fun. It gets some play sometimes, and then you'll see boats to the right of us in what we call the Harbor of Death. It'll actually dry out where you can run across the whole thing, but it's about three feet deep. You can actually go through it. You can wade through it if you really want to. And then this Fort of Double Stacks here to the left is Fort Tippmann, which is another I believe it's Fort Tippmann, but it's another really good fort to play. It's a lot of fun. It gets really wet in there as well. You see a lot of standing water. And then to the left here, you're going to see as we wrap around, we'll get to some tires, and that's Fort Goodyear. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. But you can look here, and I don't go all the way down to the far right side of the field, but there is another bunker all the way down there, basically by the tape line, and that's we call it a tent city. There's another flag base down there, and then all of these tires, you see the flag in the middle. That's Fort Goodyear, is what we call it. And you'll see there's an actual pond in the middle of the field here, and that's not something you're going to wade through. You can't play in it. You'd probably get some horrible flesh-eating disease if you were to do that. So that's probably going to be a no-go for you. But then you'll see now we're a little closer to the school bus here, and I chose not to go into the school bus for this video. I just wanted to do a general walk around so you guys can still have some element of surprise when you go and play on the field. But you'll see how actually muddy it is. This was in March, so you know, December, March, around it this time of year, like any time in between there, it's going to be pretty muddy. Fortunately, it was warm today, so that was kind of nice. So being warm, obviously, it wasn't as bad to play. So now I'll look with the camera down here to the right. You'll see a whole bunch of bunkers. It's the other side that kind of goes around the pond, and then there's the netting back there. That building right there in the middle is the Bunkhouse, which we're going to actually walk through. It's actually one of my favorite places to play. I enjoy playing in there. And then there's this dirt mound here, and then some buildings and the fence line on the other side. Building to the left over there is the chicken coop right there, the one we're looking at right in front of us here with the barrels and stuff like that. Not typically going to go in there, but it is, you know, it's another bunker to play. It's good to know. So So we'll go up here in the bunkhouse. This one's actually really useful. It's usually a stopping point for most teams. It's pretty rare to see another team get past a team when they have a bunch of people in here, because there's so many ports to shoot out of, and they are small. They are you know, and they get good range on the field, good coverage on the field. But you'll see as we kind of walk around, then we're going to be right up on top of the net next. You'll see it's right there, because it kind of goes around the parking area and all that kind of stuff. So, but for the most part, well, actually, the last part is this field over here. This part is probably the lower maze area down here, out to the left, the white netting and everything, or the white tarps. But for the most part, that is pretty much it. So if this is actually useful to you, awesome. And if you want to see more from me on this, you know, totally let me know, and I'll try to do some more. Until next time, you know, I totally appreciate you guys, and thank you guys for watching the channel, and hope to do some more stuff for you soon. You guys have a great day. We'll see you out there.